Little story about the little red balls hanging across the canyon walls for you. And they mark helicopters, so the helicopters and aircraft don't hit them. Well, those used to hang over the canyon down by the Little Colorado River. There was a place where the scientists would go across in their little cart to do water surveys and fish surveys and whatnot. And every time you'd come to them as a Grand Canyon guide, somebody was like, "What are the little red balls doing hanging between the canyon walls?" Every time. And we'd always tell them it was killer bee traps. You know, it's fun. I ain't gonna tell them it's like for helicopter. That's boring. Why let the truth get in the way of a good story? And so anyway, my buddy Guy Kenny, maybe he'll chime in a little later and help me with the details. He tells this group of Japanese journalists they're killer bee traps. And the trip goes on and they get done with the trip. And a month later or so, we get a letter in the mail from this broadcasting agency in Japan wanting to book a trip for their journalists to come down and do a in-depth news story about the killer bees and the killer bee traps in the Grand Canyon. Oh boy, yeah, and I think Guy Kenny ended up having to write a letter to him and tell him it was all made up and whatnot, but I always thought that was funny. Killer bee traps.